warehouse architecture using SAP BI, Microsoft and Cognos BI tools. He's also an expert in influencing the direction of BI architecture, platforms, versions, and toolsets while ensuring performance expectations are met. He's a seasoned professional with more than 12 years work experience. He's a graduate of the University of Ibadan, and he has worked with different organizations like Access Bank, First Bank, Union Bank, and Airtel. Join me as I welcome Mr. Olumide. Mr. Olumide, you're so welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today for our lunch seminar series.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. And I guess now we can start. But before we start, some housekeeping rules, please. So please mute your mics if you're not, please just mute your mics. And if you have any questions during the course of this program, you can just type in your questions, and we'll read them out later on. And of course, we'll also have time. If we want you to ask your questions verbally, then we'll tell you, and you can unmute your mics and ask your questions. And I guess that's basically it. So I guess we can start. So thank you again, everyone, for joining us, and I hope you have a wonderful time. So let's just get down to the nitty-gritty of everything today, because I know a lot of us really, really want to get just insights and information and anything that can help us as young data scientists, budding data scientists out there. So my first question is, of course, to Kemi, and I think this is just a general question, just to set the tone and just to have people get a feel of what it is like in the industry. So my first question is this: Kemi, how did you get into the industry? And why did you stay? And I guess the reason why I'm asking this question is because back then, when you were in school, technology, the IT industry was not as popular as it is right now. And I don't know, a lot of people did not envision that it was going to be this huge. For those guys who started out very early, I think right now they are kind of like the pace setters right now. So what was that thing that you saw that actually made you feel like, okay, this is what I want to do. This is what I think this industry is the right fit for me. And why have you stayed? Why have you stayed in this industry this long?
Okay, I guess it's different for everybody when they come in. For me, I know tech and I know nothing else. I've always been a tech person. It's what I was brought up with. I remember my very first PC, 1996. It was a desktop. Really, I wouldn't touch that PC for the life of me now, but it's all about passion. I think people should do what they're passionate about. So for me, tech is very important. Tech is my passion, is my bread and butter. It's what I do every day. Having fun for me is learning new technology. So I can't imagine doing anything else. So it's not about a matter of why did I stay. It's a matter of I can't do anything else but tech.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah. So how did I get into it so early? Let me. Traditionally I didn't want to. I come from a family of commercial people. So what do I mean by that? They are all accountants and economists and things like that. So traditionally I didn't want to go down the tech line. But I discovered something very early, which I think I'm one of the lucky people that discovered it, is that at the end of the day, there's nothing you can do with technology. So I stayed in tech because I think I saw the first side. I read a lot of magazines from Bill Gates and a lot of motivational speakers and things like that. And you can kind of predict the trends. And not because we're in an Octave session or anything like that, but the trends nowadays is going towards data. So 4 or 5 years ago, everybody was all about system analysis, business analysis, and moving into the mobile space. The trend these days are going to, so you have to be able to predict what the trends are going to be. The kids these days, when you come out of, there's no how you will not use technology. Technology has become a de facto in life. So the kids these days, when they come out of school, my niece uses an iPad better than I do, knows all the features of the iPad better than I do. So it's not a choice, it's more of this is the way we live now. It's the same way in the 70s, medicine had a big boom. This is the age of technology.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Thank you so much for that. I guess it's all about passion, as you said. And, I think one thing that people should take out of this is you just have to have that foresight. You should be able to predict the trends don't just be in, and of course the passion should be the constant thing, of course. I think that's something that, I mean, how people should just be able to predict what will happen in about 10 years, have that foresight, and just toe that line. And I think that's what has really, really helped you. Thank you so much for sharing. I don't know, Mr. Olumide, I want to also throw that question to you as well. Again, because I know you are also a data scientist and data analyst as well. And I know back then in school, it wasn't a big deal, like, it wasn't glamorous. So is this also what happened to you as well? Is this the experience that you had? I would love to hear about your experiences as well as to that regard.
Thank you very much. Mine, it's a bit different from Kemi's experience. I didn't start out to go into technology. My first love, if I'm going to be very truthful with you, was civil engineering, particularly structures. But while doing that, I happened to, let me even tell you a bit of my background. I happened to dabble into technology by chance. I was just supposed to work for a year and proceed to do masters in structural engineering somewhere very far away. But along the line, I happened to be in technology. They saw, okay, this guy studied civil. They saw engineering, so where will he fit in the bank? Just put him in IT. So there, I fell in love with the infrastructure part of IT. At the end of the day, I kind of inclined myself towards visualization because I was more like, I would say I was very good with data rendering, with rendering in 3D visual audio card computer designs. So that actually was what motivated me to say that, oh, so I can do visualization with tell stories with the data. From there, I started to grow and grow, and I started to find my line. I'm more into the engineering part of it, where you make whatever the mathematical methods that has been designed by the scientists, make it work, put it into production. And so I started learning new technologies, new approaches, new concepts. It's my first PC was in probably, I think it was 2001. I was in 200 level there about that time. Yes.
Oh my God, that's so cool. Thank you so much. I'm just so happy that I get to hear two perspectives. From Kemi's perspective, it was her passion originally, and that's how she got. And for you, it was something that kind of happened by chance, but you fell in love with it. It's kind of like, oh, where should we place this guy? Okay, maybe IT because he studied engineering, and you just kind of like towed that line and found your niche. And I kind of, in my mind, I'm just thinking how, it's true. Visualization and engineering, like civil engineering, kind of like ties in together because you're able to build stuff, you're able to visualize stuff and create stuff. And that's really, really awesome to hear. And so thank you so much for sharing your perspective and your experiences as to that regard. So I'm coming to you, Olumide, and this is a question that we got a number of times during the registration process. And I feel like, okay, this is something that a lot of people are really, really trying to understand. And the question kind of goes like this. So this person says, for a beginner from a third world country with low access to internet, looking for a career in data science, what is your recommendation for starting? What is the best way to begin a career in data science? And in a way, I kind of understand, but I also feel like you'll be in the best place to answer this question because when you started out your career, computers were not really popular. We didn't really have like internet access like that, and we had a lot of bottlenecks and limitations. So, what advice do you have for this person who is willing to start out a career in data science?
Starting out right now, it's so much different from back then in the early 2000s. because now there's an explosion of information. There's the accessibility. It's far beyond what I imagined back then. At that time, for me to get anything, it meant that we only had Starcoms, multilinks. These were slow dial-up connections. And if you had one in your house, or you had, like I had a mobile, it was a Nokia, a dial-up plane that I had. It used to go at, you would remember, it used to go maybe at 10 kb per second. That was it. When it's on 10 kb per second, it's the fastest. So it meant that for the ones who had a radio internet in the cyber cafes, it used to be very fast at night. So we'll go there at night to go and download everything that we need to download. Books, videos to learn. Now that you can sit down in front of YouTube. But starting right now, I think you have to be dedicated to it. You have to make conscious efforts because to get knowledge. What I do, even up till now, I'm always on Medium. I have a monthly subscription. It's very cheap, 1,300 naira when you convert it, or at most 1,600 to get a monthly subscription where you can rub minds. You can see the latest technologies in any topics you are interested in, even if it's data science, if it is engineering, even if it is politics, even if it's philosophy. You can get all these things also packed. These are things that it's a one-time thing. You can get it's $5. $5 is about how much now? Going by the rate. Pretty
like
small
2K.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So $5 you can get packed. It means you have video, visuals. You have books, e-books to read, which you can download on your mobile phones. You can put on your PC because they are electronic books. So you can actually have them on your devices and have on a go. So for instance, if it was somebody who uses BRT, use that time to read at that time. Don't spend so much time in front of the screen. And when you do on the screen, you are doing something that's beneficial. Yeah. YouTube, there are so many channels. There are so many very fantastic channels. Just subscribe. It's free. Learn as much as you can. Part of what they told us that time was that we should also have enter into things like Kaggle, where you would have you build your reputation over time. Participate in competitions that at least, even if you don't win, but you gain that experience in doing things. So again, be specific at what you want, whether it's the science, whether it's the engineering, whether it's even the regular app development, anything. Just be specific because there are so many things and you can easily get distracted.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you so much. I mean, those are very, very salient points that you raised. There is an explosion of information back then. 10 years ago, to get just an ebook, we know how hard it was for us back then. And I just quickly go over some of the things you raised. Be specific about what you want, because it is so easy for you to be distracted. So many information out there. So be specific. Build your reputation, do a lot of competitions, join Kaggle, be dedicated, and have that conscious effort as well. And yes, the sky is the limit. I don't know if Kemi, do you want to add to that? What Olumide?
Yeah, so I kind of want to add to that a bit. So my experience is a bit different from Olumide. I think we're going to pretty much have contrasting experience, because he came up in a different way than I did. So my experience was, okay, so when I discovered that I really wanted to do the whole tech thing, I went to, I kind of went to expert. So luckily for me, I was able, Glow was starting up then. So I was able to talk to people that were already in the telco space and were already in the IT space. And what they had told me to do is that the best experience was, no matter how much trainings and things I have, one of the best experience that I could have was to work somewhere. Regardless of whether you would work for free or not, you just work somewhere and pick up as much as you can. And that's one thing that has always worked for me. That's always been my aim. My job in Airtel today, I worked basically for free for about 6 weeks. My job in the UK, I worked for free for 2 months, just to get the hang of it. So my experience is not just, so if you notice, I have a lot of experience doing various things, not just data science or a specific role. When I have a lot of experience doing a lot of different ranges of things in IT, from system engineering to system administration to data itself. So I've always been a big believer in learning on the job. Learning on the job does not necessarily mean that you're not going to do research on your own, or you're not going to have to do everything that Olumide has said. It has to do with you actually having a place to practice all those things that you have learned in the books, in the studies, and things like that. So join groups, speak with like minds, rub off people that can actually add value to you. That's my own understanding of how you should come into the tech space and maintain the knowledge you have today. I'm a big believer in collaboration.
Okay. Thank you so much. I'm really hoping people are writing down, even if you're having lunch, because it's a lunch seminar series. I really hope you dropped your, lunch and just had to take some notes, because these are some of the things that these are very, very silent issues. And I think our CEO is also believes in this too. It's not just about learning and reading. It's good, but at the same time, you also want to practice what you've learned. So just to go over what Kemi has said, she went to experts in the field. You can also do the same. If you have an industry in mind, go meet the experts there who have told that line, ask them what they have done, work somewhere, get your hands dirty, and also do different ranges of things. You don't just say, because I'm a data analyst, and you just stick there. It's always good to learn on the job, learn new things, and of course, the sky is the limit. Thank you so much for sharing your experience regarding that. Let me go to my next question, and I'm going to be directing this question to you, Kemi. And this question goes like this. So this person says, we have a lot of disruption happening right now. What is the assurance that the future will shift towards data science, IT, and other related industries? I would love to hear your perspective on that. So because of COVID-19 has actually caused a huge disruption, but is there an assurance that the future will shift towards data science, IT, and other related industries?
Okay, so I'm going to only use COVID-19 to answer that question. Why am I going to use COVID-19? So let me ask you guys, let me throw it back to the room. How did we know that COVID-19 was going to be a pandemic, if not for data and data analysis? So we could see and we could project all the projections from the US, from China, all of that relied on data. There's no how that, regardless of whatever pandemic comes to analyze data, with the next steps. What analysts do? Financial analysts, they look at numbers and they use those numbers to predict trends. What has happened is that people are more aware. All the forex trading apps, all the money lending apps, the profiling, everybody is using data. The problem before was we did not have a way of mining that data, because the technology had not caught up to mining those data to actually use them to do something tangible with them. Mm-hmm. Now that we have, the only thing that you can see is more advancement in data. So I don't think any pandemic, in fact, you can even use data to analyze the pandemic and when the economy is going to go back and how many people are going to be impacted by the pandemic and things like that. You can use all of that, actually. So I don't think any pandemic is going to stop the use of data. the only thing that you have to understand is how do we apply that data? What are the ideas that will come up with that data? That is what you need to focus on, not whether the data will data be relevant. There has not been a time since 1975 that data has not been relevant. Data has always been relevant.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing that, Kemi. That is super true. And when I saw that question, I'm like, okay, well, maybe some people just want to hear the assurance that okay, but it's still relevant. That's basically it. Data will always be relevant, and I think as we have seen, during the lockdown, we are moving towards like technology and technological driven applications and the rest. Olumide, I don't know if you have something to share in that regard as well, about the future of IT, data science, and other related industries.
So mine is just going to be very short, because if you look at it this way, in life, everything is just like a project, and the objectives that you want to see, at least in a project you want to plan, you want to organize, then you want to deliver. Then after you deliver, you want to support. Then you want to add new things, you want to implement. Then you monitor and evaluate. All these bottom lines, all the stages that you want to do, it's all coming back to the bottom line. How you can minimize your cost and maximize your profits. Data allows you to do that. It allows you to see. By the time you start wrangling data, it gives you insights into where you're dropping the ball and where you need to improve and what you need to do better.
Yeah.
You understand? So it's ever going to be relevant. It's been relevant there. It's just that the explosion of it in recent times has been phenomenal. Its applications in the way that we save money of fueling. You see the electric cars, the self-driving cars, things that help us at least perform better. So and we do that by analyzing that data, and its efficiency also comes into play. It's not about writing mathematical models alone. But when you write that mathematical model, when you want to put it into action, how fast does it answer you? All those things have to be in place. So in its day-to-day usage and its maintenance, it's ever going to be relevant. Whether you are a data science, a data engineer, and the likes of it, ever going to be relevant.
Thank you so much, sir. That is super insightful. And I hope everyone is taking notes, because he also made a lot of raised a lot of salient points, which I know our CEO has also been hammering on a lot, a while. And those are really, really points that we should take note of. Thank you so much. So I want to move on to our next question. And this question is kind of like two-sided. So I'm just going to ask, let me start with you, Olumide, then I'll ask Kemi the other side of the question, just to get like a fuller perspective. The question is very simple though, but I think this is something that young data scientists should know. So the first part of the question goes like this, Mr. Olumide. So what are the specific hard skills that are relevant for every data scientist? So are there any specific hard skills that a data scientist should know, basically, like should know, not like need to know? So yeah, that's basically the question. What are the specific hard skills that are relevant for data scientists in the field today?
Well, the fundamental thing in anything that you do, it's how to be able to harness your data wherever it sits. Your science is as good as the quality of your data. So even if it's in the moon, if it's sitting in the web page, it's sitting under your bed, you must be able to get it out. You get it out in an efficient manner. Whether you understand. So that is key to me. Every other thing that you do, the statistics that you run on it, it's secondary. Again, your clients matter in Nigeria here. So for instance, you are talking about the financial industry. They are more. They are particular on this particular Oracle. They use relational databases mostly, and because there is no know-how in the financial sector, there are very few people who know the business and who know the technologies. There are two primary banking applications. I'm talking about financial industry because I spent so long time there, more than about 11 years thereabout in the financial industry. So you find this going day by day, even to harness it out, it's a problem. Just before last year, we were on a project in one of the big four, and it was a problem because we couldn't even, because we wanted to do a daily profitability, and they couldn't even get these things out to be able to report properly. So for more than 100 years that the bank had been in existence, they didn't have a way of reporting their profitability on a daily basis because everybody had said it was not possible. But yes, but if you understand, again, Kemi was talking about studying, working temporarily, at least to make yourself a subject matter expert in the industry. If we're talking about loans, what are the KPIs that you want to look for in the loans? It's interest, it's expenses. Those are the things that you are looking for. And how do you get them? You get expenses on your deposits. You get income on your loans. It's good that you'll be able to harness it, and again, you'll be able to know what you are doing. If you in telecoms now, it's a different level. It's until if I recharge now, it's until I start to use it. That's when it becomes money for me. And it's vice versa in the bank. It's until I give you loan, because banks primarily they make money from lending. That's supposed to be the primary place. Yeah. So you need to be able to harness, and you need to be able to understand when it comes to be able to infer from it.
Yes.
It's once you know these things, statistics we all learn in school, mathematics we learn in school. The application of it, you will kind of grow into it. You will learn it along the way. Yes. It's not so big.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. There's something you said, and I feel that is just like a huge nugget for us. Your science is as good as the quality of your data, right? The truer words, so true. I remember when I was starting out, and I did an analysis on a project. And I was waiting for someone. I think I needed to get my data out of the server, and I had to wait because I couldn't do it myself. I just knew how to analyze the data, but I didn't know SQL. I didn't know how to spool my data and all that stuff, and that really, really hindered me. That was a while back. And so, speaking from experience, I know that these are hard skills that every data scientist should know. Be able to harness your data, of course, quality data, even if it's in the moon under your bed, get it out, and also understand the industry where you work. Thank you very much, sir, for that wonderful one. Kemi, I'm coming back to you, and I want to ask you the other side of this question now, and it goes like this. So, as an expert yourself, what do you think are the soft skills that are directly relevant to data scientists? And I ask this because, a lot of data scientists, they know how to program, they know how to code, they know how to, build models and stuff like that. But a lot of them are kind of lacking when it comes to soft skills and stuff. So what do you think are the specific soft skills that would be relevant for data scientists or professionals?
For me, 3. Patience, because a lot of the time you're going to work with large data sets, and no matter how skilled you are, it will take some time. The ability to listen to to understand the essence of what you're trying to achieve. So a lot of people, they might have the core technical skills, they know what to do, but because they didn't have that understanding, they didn't listen and understand what the client is trying to achieve, what you're trying to, the end game, the end objective, their work doesn't come out as well as they would expect. And then the third thing is attitude. You want to ensure that though you might be the subject matter expert in it, and the person that you're, kind of, what's the word for it, kind of doing the work for doesn't know as much as you. If you give them a shitty attitude, they will not come back to you to analyze any data. They will rather not work with you. So those 3 things are key. Patience, because a lot of the time it's going to be large data set, it's going to take some time. Attitude, and listening and understanding.
Thank you very much for that one. It's true, especially.
Sorry, if I may add.
Of course, please.
Yes. Also, I believe that you should be able to communicate. The way you communicate your findings to your business users and decision makers, to explain that the insights they can bring to so I must be able to tell whatever model that I've done, so what it's referring to. So it's communication, storytelling, and you have a lot of intellectual curiosity to look for answers to address business crisis that you have. Do you understand? Then I believe that you must be adaptable to, don't say that it works in Airtel, so it must work in MTN. Because it works in MTN, so it must work in Nine Mobile. Or because it works there, it must work in. So you must adapt. Of all I worked in 3 banks, none of them are like, I had to adapt at every stage. So for instance, in Axis Bank, you could get away with speaking your mind. In Union Bank, you cannot get away with speaking your mind. All right? You have to be diplomatic. In First Bank, it's fantastic because nobody can bully you. You have somebody to protect you. You have the union. So you must understand all these 3 places. You adapt yourself to whatever situation that you find yourself. I believe those are soft skills that we even in any, whether it's data science or anything, again, that I mentioned product understanding in the last time. So that's
Sorry about that, guys. I guess we just have a very, very noisy participant. Please go ahead, sir.
Okay, so again, I think you should be a team player because no input is stupid. If you look at it that way, even a stupid input can be very valuable. You look at it to help you to handle exceptions. He was able to collaborate well with others, and that's why I advise Kaggle. It's a community. You do things, they give you better ways of doing it. It's a way of working as a team.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much, sir. I mean, the funny thing about it is that all the experts we've had that we've had in the past, they've all said the same thing, basically, especially as regards soft skills. And I guess I am happy that our graduate trainees are here because now we see the very, very common theme communication. It's all about how you communicate your findings. Even if you can build all the machine model techniques and do all the, all the beautiful stuff out there, if you can't communicate your findings to the end user or your client, then it's as good as you're not doing anything at all. Being able to tell stories with data, that is also something that is very important. And I also want to go back to what Kemi said initially: patience. I mean, that's something we experience here at Octave Analytics, where you have to be so patient. I mean, that actually teaches you patience, where you try work with huge data sets and listen and understand the essence of what you are trying to do. What is the end objective? And having the right attitude, that is also very, very important, and it will take you a long way. Also, be very, very adaptable. Mr. Olumide gave a lot of examples, different organizations. You can't say what worked in Access Bank will work for First Bank, and what worked in First Bank will work in Unity Bank. It doesn't work that way. So thank you very much, sir, for that wonderful piece of advice. So I guess I'm going to the next question. And let me start with you, Mr. Olumide, and then I'll move on to Ms. Kemi. So this question also came in a number of times, and I think it's also something that maybe we should address. So this question goes this way: are there any data science skills that might become irrelevant after COVID-19? I even myself, I'm kind of wondering, like, okay, is that true? So yes, sir, I want to throw that question to you, Mr. Olumide. Are there any data science skills that might become irrelevant after COVID-19?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know, because it's a budding field. It's at its infancy in Nigeria, and it's not so old like the old mathematics. Yeah. So I really don't know. I don't know. Let's just be open-minded to again update ourselves. I don't know. In truth.
Thank you very much for being so honest. Because when I saw that question, I'm like, do I know? I don't know. Like, Kevin, do you have anything to add in that regard? So I don't know, maybe you know
I have zero idea. That's like, I have no idea what is not relevant, because I don't know. The only thing that it would be is that you would learn new things and better ways of doing things. Yes. But there's nothing. My old SQL from 2009, I'm still using it to date, right? So we might have picked up PLSQL, PostgreSQL, and other things along the way, and do Python and R and things like that. But when it comes down to some certain things, quick and dirty, you go down to it. So there's nothing you learn in data analysis that is not relevant.
That's very true. Thank you so much. Thank you. The truth is, when I saw that question, and that question came up a number of times, I'm like, are there really any skills that are becoming irrelevant? And then I asked someone that question, and the person was telling me that, well, for instance, instead of plotting graphs, there's a university in New Zealand that actually came up with a software where you could it's like a drag and drop tool. So instead of writing codes to create plots and bar charts and pie charts, you just have this drag and drop tool, which is like an addition to R. And the person was like, oh, probably in the future, you, instead of coding, it would just be like a drag and drop. I'm like, well, at the end of the day, you still need to know R, basically. So it's not like it's becoming irrelevant. It's just that you have to learn new things. So I guess that has answered that question for whoever asked. I hope that answered your question. If you guys know any skills that are becoming irrelevant, please, you can type it in the comment section, and maybe we can share that knowledge as well. Okay, so let's move on to so Kemi, this question is for you, and I think the reason why I want to ask this question is because you've done so many projects. I mean, and you've been in the industry for quite a while, and this question goes like this: how can young programmers, young data scientists, or young graduates in general, how can they overcome the pressures of the industry? So, of course, there's so many pressure. The pressure is real out there. Do you have any advice as to how to handle pressure in the industry?
Okay. This is a tricky one because even I still face pressure. So it's just a matter of your coping mechanism, and it builds over time. Everybody has some level of pressure on them. There's no human being on earth that is living that doesn't have pressure. So it's a coping mechanism that you have to develop. And once you know what you're doing and you're sure of your skill set, I don't think any pressure is going to come to you in particular. Just clearly state how long it's going to take you for a task when you get assigned a task, and don't miss your deadlines so that nobody begins to put undue pressure on you. Now, in terms of oh yes, you're a young person, you've not started your career, hence you're not able to even get jobs that you would like to get. Again, patience. It takes time. You have to. There's nobody that's going to come and start from the top. You have to actually put in the work required to get to that place that you want to be. I know you just come out of school and you're thinking to yourself, oh, but I can do that job, but the job is asking for 10 years experience. What do they want to use 10 years experience for? The experience is not for, it's not in that particular task that you do, but it's how you handle yourself, how you relate to people and things like that, how you handle yourself in a project. Olumide mentioned that what works in one place doesn't work in another place. That comes from experience. And so it's not, don't be in a hurry to get to the end. Take your time and understand the processes.
Yes, thank you very, very much. Mr. Olumide, I don't know if you have anything to, just to add to that regard as well.
Not really. Again, she has said it. It's the way and manner in which, you choose to handle those things. Yes, pressures of work can come. You may have 3 things to deliver within a very short timelines, but you must be able to communicate, and your superiors must be able to carry them along. I've found out that it's good that you carry at least your next line boss, carry the person along, or the person you brought to on the project, carry the person along, and be truthful to a large extent. Sometimes it's good to be quiet. I'm not saying that you should lie, but I'm just saying that you have to watch. Again, you have to adapt. Know the individual. If you can confide on that person, try and confide, and don't carry all the burdens on your head. Even for those of us who go to churches, we say we cast all our burdens on him because he cares. So all our burdens, we shouldn't carry it alone. We'll break ourselves.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you. I mean, those are very, very true words again. Kemi said coping mechanisms. Don't miss your deadlines, put in the required work, and know how you handle projects as well. And Mr. Olumide said, just be truthful, learn how to adapt. Don't put all the hope at the end of the day. Yes, it's good to put in your best, but you don't have to carry the whole burden alone. I've seen a lot of moody data. In fact, nowadays I do see a lot of moody data scientists. And in my mind, I'll be like, what's happening, guys? Come on. That's why most times you're in a team, share, talk to your superiors. But yeah, basically just know how to handle pressure, because that would actually help you in later on when you start getting the big gigs or you get it up to a top position. And those are very, very important points. Thank you very much. So Kemi, I want to come to you. This question, sorry, not Kemi. I think this is for Olumide. Yes. And I want to ask this question. This question came in, somebody asked this question, and it's something that has always been at the back of my mind, but I feel like, okay, let me get your thoughts on this. So we do have a lot of young graduates who are data scientists, but they do a lot of freelance jobs, in the sense that they don't, a lot of them don't want to work in like structured companies. I've seen a data scientist who says, oh, I cannot work for anybody. I can't work for any organization. I get my jobs on Fiverr. I get my jobs online. And I do my job, and freelance data scientists. And I've been seeing a lot of those guys of recent. They don't want to work in a structured place. What are your thoughts concerning that? What is your take on freelance data scientists? Do you think this is a suitable part for young data scientists, or is this going to be the new normal, basically? So I want to hear your thoughts on as regards this.
I see nothing wrong in freelancing. my own motto has been, if it works for you, then it's fine. It can work for you, it may not work for me. But depending on the individual and the goals that you've set for yourself, just be true to it. Whatever you decide to do, even if you're a freelancer, you'll be meeting deadlines. You know, whether you work for somebody, but it means you are contracted to somebody within a very short time. There's still a contract there. So it goes that way for me. Yes, because I wouldn't do freelancing because it doesn't give me guaranteed income. You understand? Personally, and that's because I find myself in Nigeria. If I was for a short time that I was away, you understand, I could do freelancing very well and even paid you to do that than sitting 9 to 5 in somewhere. So again, depends on what works for you and how well you're able to adapt yourself to it.
Okay.
Very, very beautiful to do that.
Okay, that is, yes, I guess definitely you're right. It depends on the individual at the end of the day. You know, what works for you, what does not work for you. I don't know, Kemi, do you have anything to share as to that regard? You know, some.
Okay, so I think freelancing is not bad. The only challenge is the where we are. So if you can get on Upwork and freelance as much as you can, or any of these other sites, Fiverr, Upwork, and freelance as much as you can, all well and good, that's perfect. But the challenge in the environment that we have is that most people, because Nigerians as a whole, we have a lot of trust issues, we prefer to hire people that are 9 to 5 rather than hire a contractor, because we believe that the contractor is going to cheat you in some way or something. So if you're planning on having a career abroad, freelancing is perfect for you. You would make double what you would make at a 9 to 5. But if you're planning on having a career in Nigeria, unfortunately, right now, and I'm not saying it won't change in the future, right now, it's not very lucrative to be a freelance data science in Nigeria right now. But it might change in the future. Again, a lot of things have changed recently.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. Yes, that's super helpful. I guess I think a lot of data scientists are thinking about towing that line. You know, just doing freelance. I have heard a lot of upcoming data scientists just say, well, even if there is a 9 to 5 job, I just want to work on my own, blah 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 blah. And at the end of the day, it's just like what Olumi, they say, what works for you, fine. If it works for you, okay. But at the end of it, just understand the challenges that comes with it. If you're willing to, you know, still go on with that, then that's good for you. So thank you very much. Let me move on to the next question. And this question is, okay, this is actually very well, it's kind of like an open question anyway, and I want to direct this question to Kemi. So this question goes like this: as a data scientist, how often should you change your job? And so I don't know why this person asked this kind of question, but you know, I think I understand what the person is going to talking about in terms of like job mobility and, you know, just moving from one job to another. So is there like a set rule as to how long you should stay in an industry as a data scientist, how often you should change your jobs? What do you think in that?
So there's no set rule. There's no so usually what I notice is that most people tend to change their job when they come into an environment, they begin to do routine tasks. So as long as your job is not routine, then you shouldn't change. You don't have to. But if you feel bored, you should change it. There's no preset time. So I won't advise you to change your job every year, for instance. I'll tell you to wait maybe 2 to 3 years before you change your job, because it looks as if if you do it too often. But some people should stay a long time in the organization. And I'll give you an example. I've been in a certain role, well, not the same role, in a certain company for 6 years, and I haven't changed my job, but I keep moving to different things in the same organization. I have a friend that does, his limit is 3 years. He will tell you that he doesn't stay more than 3 years in anywhere. And he's a very senior guy. He does 3 years, and then he looks to the next company and says that's what he wants. That's because it takes you about a year to settle into an organization fully and get the flow of things. And then and maybe another 2 years of impact before you take your leave and leave on the high horse. So it depends on the individual. You don't have to change your job every 6 months. When you're starting out, you tend to change a bit more. And why do I say that? That's because you're looking for new opportunities and also trying to increase your pay, trying to get more knowledge and things like that. So you might move a bit more when you're starting out. But you tend to go higher up the food chain. You tend to look for and crave stability.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. I hope everyone is taking note of all these points. My graduate trainees, we'll definitely have our own little meeting after this, and we'll get to discuss some of these points because they are very, 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 very important. Like, Mr. Olumide, I would love to hear your perspective on this as well. What are your thoughts, sir?
Okay, probably because I've booked several places.
Yes. We want to know too. Yes, sir.
Okay, it's not. No, it's not cast in stone. Sorry, I have a discussion from background noise. Sorry. Okay, there's no rule that says you can change your job. But as Kemi had said, when I was closer to the bottom of the food chain, I could just say that I just didn't like the way that the things I was doing. Yes, let's go and look for another job. We'll go. But now, as you begin to move up, even there are not so many opportunities up there. So it becomes not as easy as when you were a younger guy or a junior guy to move. So I don't have these rules, but because I know that when I do something, I have a personal conviction about it that yes, what I'm doing is right, and I damn consequences. But I like to implore that at least give time, even if it's like you don't like your boss's face. Maybe I don't like Kemi's face, then I want to leave. It shouldn't be that. We should try and work things out to try and reach an understanding.
Again, I keep begging you, don't leave me.
I'm not leaving you. Don't worry. Again, you must be able to adapt. Yes, that's soft skill to adapt to the individual, your new ways, your new expectation. You understand? That way, you won't just use any opportunity to just fly away and just say, yeah, it's MTN next, it's United Bank next. So
yes. Thank you so much. I guess I have heard a lot of young graduates now, not just data scientists, say, "Oh, I'm just going to go into that organization. After 8 months, I leave, and then I get another one, and after 6 months, I leave." And I'd be like, "Come on, guys! Like, what's your deal here? What's the end game for you here?" But it's just really nice to hear what Kemi said. 2-3 years it's actually a good one. It's a good number of years for you to, the first year, try to learn the ropes, try to understand what's going on. And after that, 2 more years to, do impact in the organization. And then you can leave, but you have to be challenged. If you're not challenged also in that organization, of course, it's also advisable that you leave. But again, as Mr. Olumide said, don't
I have to put it in there. So I have left a job in 6 months because it was boring. It was I could do the job with my sleep. It literally put me to sleep. Right. So immediately after NYSC, the first job I got was extremely boring. And throughout the entire 6 months I was there was just one project that was even halfway decent. So I left the organization because of that. So if you're not challenged and you feel as if this is not the right fit for me, trust me, when you get to an organization that is your home, that is home for you, you would know.
That's super true. Again, at the end of the day, if you are not challenged, please don't say the rule is we should wait 3 years or 4 years. No, though I'm not saying that. Of course, you want to do something that challenges you, that excites you, and you know. And at the end of the day, you also, because since you're young and you're just starting out in the field, we don't. I wouldn't advise that you stay somewhere for 10 years. Well, you know, again, what rocks your boat. But yeah, you also want to move. You want to create new opportunities. You also want to be able to do more within that industry as well. So thank you very much for.
In my first organization, sorry, in my
Yes,
first
yes.
organization, if you stayed 10 years, you get a Rolex. You
That's
get a
a
Rolex.
suicide now in our organization. If we can say yes.
So,
Oh my god.
so
Oh wow.
you are encouraged to stay 10 years and at least you
I
get
get it next.
a very giant cake to thank you for loyal service.
Wow.
I left my first job as a structural engineer, graduate structural engineer, because I was traveling too much and I have a phobia for traveling. So it's day we are moving from Ibadan to Lagos. Tomorrow it's always on the road because we are supervising something, structure, building somewhere. So
Yes,
there are so many reasons in me. I was occupied. I enjoyed the work, but I didn't like traveling.
Yes.
So every
Oh,
time
that's another reason.
fasting and everything, to that extent, I don't like it. So there's so many reasons why you may want to leave the job. One of it is you don't just enjoy what you're doing. The other one, you don't like the way the philosophy of the people who are there.
You know, at the end of the day, I guess this is like, if you're going to even leave a job, maybe after 6 months or 8 months or whatever, it should be for legitimate reasons. Don't just leave because that lady was eyeing me and I don't like her face. I'm leaving. I'm moving to the next job after 6 months. It's because at the end of the day, if you're leaving because somebody was eyeing you, somebody else, you might get to another organization where someone would also, you know, eye you more or stuff like that, where you have more issues like that. So if you're going to leave an organization, it should be because, first of all, you're not challenged, or, you know, because of probably legitimate reasons. I've had a friend who really loved the job, but because her husband was in a different state and she was in a different state, and as much as she loved the job, what was important to her at that time was family, and that's why she quit. So legitimate reasons as to why you leave your job, but at the same time, you also want to stay to create it, to, you know, make an impact in that organization before you leave. Yes, thank you so much for those really, really awesome examples. So I guess I want to move to the next question. And guys, there will be shortly after this, you can there'll be room for you to ask your questions. So if you want to start typing your questions out now, you can do that. And if not, you can probably start showing a raise of your hand so that we can get to call you out if you have any questions. So and my next question is, so Mr. Olumide, this question is for you. And this person says this: how long will it take me to become a good data scientist? And what tools am I to learn in order of precedence?
How long?
Yes, how long?
How long? That one is not in anybody's. It's in your hand.
Would you even answer whether you have an expert data? Nobody can tell you how long, because I don't know.
Yeah.
No one can tell you how long. That's the honest truth.
Yes, I thought as much too. But you know, in my mind, I just thought, well, maybe there's like a rule, like say, oh, before you become a good data scientist, you have to have like, you know, 3 years of practicing. But I don't know. That's why I felt I should ask that question. Maybe it's something, you know.
Yeah. Well, there's no. It depends on the way you're dedicated to it. You want to. If you're someone who always strives to learn new things every day, new things, you know, at least you get the ropes. But you know, you can't take away experience. Huh? That experience is key. Yeah, the way you deal with large data sets from technology to technology, it's quite different. And whatever preferences, whatever organization you're working for. Like I know that Axis Bank was specific back then to say that every enterprise project that they do must be on Java. Java. Yeah. And if you want to deploy anything, you must be on IPM WebSphere application server. That's the application server choice. You know, people why they made those rules, I don't know. Yeah, so again, so if you want to work with them, you have to adapt. So if you didn't know Java, would you learn Java? Or you convince them to let you use the language that you know. So in order of preference, I think starting out, it's nice because to do relational databases with it, at least know how to interact with relational databases, then pick a programming language. The advice is that you pick the easiest to learn. Now you see people learning, even Harvard for computer science, they do with Python first as a base language. From there, you can move to more not easy to learn ones like Java and the rest of them. You understand? Because there's no way you do big data back then that you would not do Java at some point. Yeah, it said it's good with heavy lifting, but I don't see the use right now because Python has come to stay in that kingdom for some reason. But you know, just pick these languages and pick your visualization. You can start with a very something like a Tableau or even your Excel to do your visualization. So you know, just pick it. Understand the concepts, understand relationships when you are dealing with data. How best to arrange your data sets so that it's easy for presentation and it's easy for you to drill down and roll up at any case in time. So you at least understand the basic concept of warehousing, data warehousing, transactions, and the way your schemas type, snowflakes, star, and the rest of them. That way, it helps you to save space and to optimize your queries and the presentation.
Yes, thank you so much. I mean, this is I think this is super important. You know, as you said, of course, there is no hard and fast rule. It's not like before you become a good data scientist, you have to spend this number of years to practice. I've heard stories about a 40-year-old woman who learned programming. She became quite proficient in it in just 6 months. And for some people, it could take them 2 years. You know, it depends on your pace and your abilities. And I love what you said about, you know, the order of preference in terms of, you know, first start out with relational database management, and you can then go start on with the easier programming tools like Python. I mean, I think I heard of someone who came. No, I think I know this person. This person came to me and said, I want to learn programming. And I'm like, okay, so how have you started? And she's like, oh, I went on Coursera and I started learning cloud computing. And I'm like, okay, you cloud computing, but you want to be a programmer. I mean, do you know Python? No. Do you know SQL? No. So why, you know, so it's at the end of the day, it's just very simple. Start with the basics, and then build up and learn the other not so easy ones as you go. So thank you very much, sir. So this question is for Kemi. So I think this is also just a personal question for you, and I think I'm really happy and excited that I got to read your profile to see. So I guess this question goes like this: how are you able to scale up your performance as an expert in the industry?
I read a lot.
Yeah.
I read a lot. I have, and I associate myself with people who are better than me, so I can pick things off them. So one of the things is, that saying, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So all my friends they're smarter than me. They're more agile than me. And so that is how I measure up as an expert in the industry. And I do a lot of self-study and I experiment a lot. I spend a lot of time investing, time and money actually investing in myself. I go for trainings. I read a lot basically to keep up with industry trends and things like that.
Wow, super. That is just, I mean, you just hit the nail on the head, basically. Miss Olumide, I'd love to also hear your thoughts as well. How have you been able to, keep up as an expert and scale up your performance as an expert in the industry?
When I wake up, let me tell you my routine. When I wake up, I look at my phone, I read my Bible. No, I read my Bible, I pray, then I go. There's a Quora. There are some interesting topics I'm following on Quora. Then on my Medium, I'm always looking out. These are new things. And there's this interesting guy that I follow on YouTube. What's his channel? Those guys' name, at least in terms of programming and new things, visualization. I follow some interesting. I'll remember the guy's channel on YouTube, and those are. And I spend when I cannot find materials resources, I go and buy the courses on Udemy. Some of them are good, some of them are not fantastic, but you won't. I look for when they're doing sales. Maybe I have $10, then I buy it. It's mine for keeps. Then I just understand the technology and see how it goes. The first time I was going to see Spark, we there to use it in Pressbank, and there was no direction. And so everybody was saying, yes, we'll go to cloud. We are moving to Azure. We're moving this, we're moving that. But there was no direction. Everybody was now looking up to you here, give us direction. And I had to spend my own money before I went on a training, at least to understand the fundamentals of cloud computing and stuff. And to validate your learning, at least try and do certifications. That way, it just helps you to reassure yourself that so I know this thing, and it gives you that extra motivation to study, and to know it so that you can pass it.
Wow.
Okay, so let me just put this thing. So I have about 15 certifications, and so you have to invest that time. You have to invest that money. If you are waiting for an employer to come and train you, those gone are those days. Nobody's going to do that for you anymore. Okay. So when my sister was asking me that, why do you spend this amount of time buying all these courses and everything like that? Is your employer not meant to train you on this? And I said, well, I don't know how it was during your own time, but I've never worked in any place that they would train you and do the certification and things for that, all the things that you actually do need. They probably, if you need like 10 things in this particular year, they probably do 2 or 3 for you. The remaining 7, you have to do it yourself. You have to read. You need to see my Udemy account, okay? I actually give you my Udemy account because I bought so many trainings on my Udemy account that people were like, oh, I know you must have this training already. So,
wow.
Yeah, so I have so many things on my Udemy account. And it's really easy these days because I'm more of a visual learner rather than a reading person, okay? So I literally would, when I want to go to bed, I can play the same chapter over and over again just to get the point in me. And sometimes you even start to think of the things in your head. You start hearing the voices of the trainers in your head. That's how, so I use it to, at any particular point in time, I'm in traffic, you bring out your iPad. So again, it's a lot of reading. You have to invest the time in yourself. don't think of it as, oh, I'm wasting money to learn this. Think of it that I am investing in myself. Don't think of it that I'm learning this for my employer. I'm learning this for myself, because no matter what you learn, you're not going to, your employer is not going to take it out of your brain. It's not possible.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Olumide and Kemi. Wow.
Let me just add this.
Yes.
Your employer may not, even if your employer trains you, he may not train you in the things that you have interest in. I've been trained on so many irrelevant things that I don't think I'll use ever again in my life. But the knowledge will still stay with me. I spent over 3 weeks in Europe to learn Swift Alliance as an administrator. You know what Swift Alliance is? It's the messaging application where you use to transfer money across the globe. It's usually I want to wire money from Nigeria to US. That is the application. So I was trained on that. But is that what I really wanted? No. Again, yes, I trained so many places, but it's not what I wanted to do. So they are just wasted. So I have to be conscious to say how I want to develop myself and spend my money, because you can't hide from it. Either you spend your time, you spend your money. The money you use to buy data, if you don't want to buy courses, you use to buy data, and you have sleepless nights because you have your regular jobs to be obligations to meet. Then when everybody is sleeping, you have to burn that candle. It's just you have to just spend that extra hour. When others are sleeping, you spend that to develop yourself. And
wow, I'm just so excited that I got to ask this question, of course, and all the other questions. But this one, I'm just so excited to hear your both of you and what you have to say regarding this, because I feel like young data scientists just feel like, oh, once you're up there, you don't really need to read that much. You don't really need to study. I mean, you're up there. What do you need to lose? But it's just refreshing to hear Olumide and Kemi say that they still read. I mean, Kemi has an Udemy account with basically almost like all the relevant courses, and it's just really mind-blowing to see that experts also develop themselves. They also burn the midnight oil, regardless of the fact that they are they're experts in the field. They keep on learning. Don't wait for your employer to train you. If you're a young data scientist out there, you're waiting for training from your company. At the end of the day, you just have to go out of your way. Instead of that subscription, your Netflix subscription, you can use that $10 to buy a course on Udemy or LinkedIn and just develop yourself. Go for so many, just develop yourself. And there is also something that Kemi pointed out, which is so key, is associate yourself with people that are better than you, that are smarter than you, that are more agile than you. I mean, there's no need for you to be what's that word now? Be self-conscious and feel like, oh, okay, this person is better than me and I might not shine, and you have that reservation. Go out there, look for people that are better than you and learn from them. And of course, try and impact knowledge in the process as well. And yeah, the sky is your limit. So I'm really, really happy to hear their points of view regarding this. And I'm super, super excited. So I have one more question and then I'm going to throw it open. So guys, if you have questions, get ready. And this question is for Olumide. Do you know, Mr. Olumide, do you know any interesting trends in the field of data science? Is there anything that is really, really becoming like, people are actually like, focused on in the field of data science, like, the new kid on the block? And yeah, that's basically, what are the interesting trends you feel you see out there? And I think this should be a 2-in-1 question. And how can young data scientists also advance the field of data science?
Sorry, I was looking for my mic to unmute.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah. I like there's one reason why I like Udacity. It's they always, again, because I've never gone with the popular opinion, I was just because I'm always curious about things, and so I'll speak personally. I will not say what's in the industry, but the concept of self-driving cars, um, which has been on for a while, and they're still perfecting it, and it intrigues me a lot. They're still trying to perfect this old technology, how it works in different places. What if there's a mad downfall driver that would not stop for you? That field really interests me, really. But I the money to enroll it's my challenge. So maybe if I get this thing, a scholarship from you guys, I'll put it in play. So
No
what
problem, sir.
the other question? Let's say hello.
Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The other part of the question is like, how can, young data scientists advance the field of data science?
Well, you can. There are so many things that you can specialize in. You can become a machine learning engineer, where you create data funnels, deliver software solutions. Again, applications architects. In fact, enterprise architects. Part of that journey, because I'd always seen myself as in that role in a long time and a long time business.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
studying, part of what we were talking about the other time was saying that in there to learn to write a TOGAF exam in Nigeria. That's like the most popular certification exam. It was about 800,000 for for because you had to attend classes and write the exams, part one and part two. You know, before I invested in it, I first went to Udemy to go and buy. There were 60,000 courses at the time, so I was waiting. I wrote a small Python program to be checking on Udemy when the courses drop to a certain level. It alerts me then, and eventually when it came, I I bought this course and I registered for it. That's another way that you can, if you're tired of going into technicalities where uh, you want to align strategy with technology needs at the executive level, that it's an executive role. So you may not get your hands so dirty, but you understand the technology, the business, the English that the data scientists, the machine learners will talk about, the architects, they will talk about, the data architect themselves, where they will talk about. Another role is data architect, where you can advance and be specific. And again, all those things run on infrastructure.
Mm.
Yes. So depending on your enterprise architect, the infrastructure architects, they will work hand in hand together to see that whatever models that you have put into production. Like I was, I went to a site. It's an iron site where they customize this IBM's Watson. To all you have to do is put in your Twitter ID, and it tells your what they use this thing for. Does your analysis based on your tweets, recent tweets event, and tells your personality.
Actually, sometimes it is in practical use. When you want to apply for your visa in the US now, they ask you to enter your social media handle, and that's data as its best.
True. That's super true. Yeah.
That's what they are using for. They are basically doing like an analysis of the kind of comments you you like,
Yes.
what you comment on. It's called what's the English for this? Um,
Sentiment.
Sentiment analysis. Exactly.
Yeah,
Sentiment analysis. That's what it is. So even your social media can be invested to tell so much about you. They can literally predict the kind of people that will fall for scams and the kind of people that only follow. So based on the people that you follow, if you follow like you follow like Wizkids and you follow like all the popular musicians and you only like comments on Joe and things like that, they kind of know that, oh, okay, this person is a bit superficial. But if you follow, there's a company that does that in Nigeria. I'll get the name of the company for you in a bit. One of my colleagues used to do this, and they basically do sentiment analysis, and they came in very handy in the election period, and they tell you what type of things to post just so that you can get people to vote for you and for you to like you. So there's a company that does only sentiment analysis of social media. I think there are about 3 of them. I'll get the names and drop it in the chat shortly.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh wow, thank you so much. I mean, so much has been said, and I hope our graduate trainees especially are really taking note. These are ways, that we can, our young data scientists can actually advance the field of data science. There's just the possibilities are endless, and more opportunities are opening up every single day. So just take opportunity of all that you have out there, and and of course the sky is the limit for you all. So it's time. It's time to open this up, and if you have any questions, this is the time for you to signify. So I know somebody wrote in the comment section, that's Ramadan. I know you have a question. Before I call out on you, just want to say that this again, please, if you have any questions, before you unmute your mic, raise up your hands, or you can type it in the comment section. You can either type the question itself, or you can just say, I have a question and I would like to speak, so that everything will just be done decently. Let me unmute Ramadan so that you can go ahead and ask a question. Okay, I think you're muted. So Ramadan, please go ahead and ask your question. Hello. Oh, there are a lot of static sound. Can you hear me?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. Sorry, my question goes to Miss, maybe Madam Kemi or Mrs. Kemi. I don't know. I'm very sorry. I want to ask
Kemi. I'm not that old.
Is there? Okay, my question goes to you. Like, I want to. Hello.
I can hear you.
Go on.
Yeah. The question I want to ask is, okay, is there maybe a book you can recommend for us, learners that, like me, I started learning data analysis, like, let me say 3 weeks ago. I just called a friend over to teach me, to just put me through that. I really love to know more about this, and he taught me about BI, SQL, and Python, a little about machine learning. Then I attended a program online yesterday, and they spoke more about SQL and Power BI. So I did this internship online in KPMG, and I was given a certificate also. And I told him I would like to do more. I would like to do more internships, and I would like to read more by myself. So my question is there a book that you can recommend for all that we can read that would help us more? And you said something about maybe you have a recording that you listen to every time, even when you're on the road, you listen to it, and you'll be able to understand what the practical you have learned. Okay, yeah, this is how it is. This is how things are going. Okay, these are the mistakes I'm making. I don't know. Maybe you understand what I'm saying, because actually I have passion for it, and I would love to be an expert in data analysis, but I'm actually taking my time to put in my best. Actually, I have to leave work to come home just for this program, and I just came home so I can calm down and listen to it and jot down some things. But I think I was like 45
So,
minutes late.
no problem. What do you do right now? What work do you do?
Oh, I let me say a cobbler. Actually, I graduated from University of Lagos. I studied mathematics, but I am a cobbler too. I go to work before NYSC. So
Okay,
that's
so you are
it.
pre-NYSC, right?
Ma?
You are pre-NYSC.
Yeah.
So
Waiting
if I
for
was
it.
going to advise anybody to start working now, or to start business analysis, I would tell them to start from the basics of the basics, which is perfect your SQL. And from there,
Okay.
maybe go into a bit of PSQL. And then from there, you can now start to do a bit of R and Python. And then
Okay.
maybe while you do the R and Python, add a bit of visualization skills to your skill set. That's what I would advise you to do. But
Okay.
I can tell you to go and read all of these books, watch all of these videos, and all of that. If you do not have a practical thing that you want to apply to, it will not stick as much. What I would advise you to do is maybe look for an internship or look for somebody that that can spend and give you some projects on the side and see how well you do those projects. Because that would be the first thing. So if you have a tax, so again, I'm a great believer in using what you have learned and what you have read to do something, because that's how I believe it sticks. So if you have a task to say, I want to achieve this 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's one of the things I love about Octave. Octave was the only training that I have done in 3 years of people sending me on training that was actually able to hold my attention. Usually, they are not able to hold my attention because whatever the instructor is saying, either I've learned it on my own or it's just not, I can't just, it can't resonate with me. So what I would advise you to do is while you read all these books on SQL and everything, look for somebody who has a project. Don't ask them for money. Ask them to please just give me the opportunity to do it so that you can learn from that, right? And then and use whatever you have learned reading your books. Start with SQL and then move on into other things, like I said. Now, you asked about my videos. So I actually buy my videos on Udemy and I put it on my iPad and I just stream it. Say it will be a bit expensive for you to do that because you must always have data. Okay, you must always have data and things like that, and you must always pay for the training. And like Olumide has said, you have you can buy a lot of ones that are really bad.
Yeah,
I have bought a lot of Udemy trainings that are horrible. So it again, you just have to put in the effort. Start with the basis of SQL. Move on to some visualization tool like Power BI. Power BI is really popular because it comes bundled with Microsoft. Then maybe do some Tableau, some quick review, and then just get someone that will help you with the practical experience. There are a lot of companies out there, especially the Nigerian startups in the Yaba axis and that kind of axis, that they would take you on as an internship program that you can spend time and they will give you real life scenarios where you can use this learnings that you have learned in school. But let me ask, that means for you to be asking me this question, you are not a Octave student, or are you an Octave student?
No, he's not. He's not. I didn't register for the program.
I think your first step would be to get yourself onboarded with Octave, because one of the things that I attended was Octave, and it was for data analysis. And one of the things that I saw was that they actually give you real life scenarios to use. So try to get yourself onboarded into the Octave family. I know it might seem pricey.
I have a friend. I have a friend that works with. So she is the one taking me. So I already told him that if there's any internship that I can attend, that I would love to. So he's the one giving me that, okay, this is the one you can do for now. This is one time that I can maybe join Octave myself.
Yeah, so I'm
So
pretty sure he will give you more or less the same advice that I've given you, which is start with the basis of SQL, move on to Power, maybe something with visualization, move on to some R and Python, and then take it from there.
Yes. Thank you so much, Kemi. I mean, I just want to also add this Ramadan. So we will also follow up with you later after this program because I know you joined in late, but I spoke about that DASCA certification, and I think that's going to be a very, very right fit for you, because I can tell you have the passion for it, for data science, data analytics, and I think that's going to be a very, very good one. So we'll follow up with you after this program. I guess maybe just leave your email address in the comment section so that we can get to talk with you. Mr. Olumide, I don't know if you also have any advice for him as well before we move on to someone else, another question and stuff.
Okay, naturally I'm a bookie. I like to read, and I like to. I'm also a visual learner. So things that I can advise that you get things like, yeah. Can you mute the other guys that are not speaking? So you get things like Oracle has their own VM that comes bundled with SQL, Oracle SQL database, and what's this? The Apex. It's an Apex VM that gives you, and there's a tutorial online, at least have the basis for SQL, where you can practicalize. You have a database, the student database, which is for learning, HR database, which is for learning also. That gets you at least going, and it's a guided learning that helps you at least have an idea before you go and sit in a classroom. Sitting in a classroom, you may feel overwhelmed in the first place from personal experience. You may feel overwhelmed in the first place if you don't have, if everything looks like Greek to you. So, and if you can read properly, there are these books that you can read on analytics. I think it's by Charles Whelan. It's called Naked Statistics. I have it somewhere. It's what's the color of this book? But you know, Naked Statistics is white like this.
White, yeah, it's a very good book. Yeah,
very, very, very good book. So you begin to see the practical applications of it. When you are talking about presentations, when I was studying for TCWI certification, I bought these performance dashboards. Although the prints look not interesting, but it's a very good book. That you know the beauty of a presentation when you are doing a performance, when you are doing your monitoring, your measuring, your monitoring also of your business, this KPIs. It's also recommended. Then if there's this particular, if you can get this book, whether online, PDF, automate boring stuff in Python, using Python, it's a wonderful book. They have a website also, which in fact, that book is enough for you to have the basic idea when you want to learn programming. It gives you the application side of it. Automate boring stuff. It's yellow with a little bit of green, with one machine pushing something. It is available on PDF, in Kindle, EPUB books. You can buy it online. It shouldn't be too expensive. Go to pact.com. You should see it. Basically, you find your level at some point. And you can go to a class to put all these things into applications.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much for those recommendations. I think this is not just for Ramadan, but for everyone. So David Adedimo, so the first book is Naked Statistics. I'm a huge fan of that book as well. And like the second book he mentioned is Automate Boring Stuff using Python. So I think I have typed it in the comment section just in case you would just want to do more research on these books and just get them. It would really, really help a lot. So thank you so much, Ramadan, for that very, very insightful question. So I don't know if any other person. We do have 15 minutes to go though, but yeah, I just want to open the floor. If you have any more questions, please, now is the time to ask. So you can raise up your hands or type in your questions. And don't be scared, don't be shy. Questions are questions. There are no dumb questions, of course. So does anyone have any question? I know it's a lunch seminar series, so I know some people might probably are eating lunch or brunch. I don't know if your hands are busy. Okay. We do have. Okay. Wow. So my graduate trainees, what's happening now? No questions. Okay, so I'll just wait 2 more minutes. 1 more minute. So I guess before let's see. Okay, so before I guess if I would love to give 1 or 2 more persons time to come up with their questions, but I just want to ask probably a last question from my own end, and I think it's going to be directed to our 2 speakers for today. Just final, a final note. So Kemi, on a final note, what practical advice would you give young data scientists, graduate trainees? You've said a lot, of course. I hope they're all writing down. But do you have just one piece of practical advice for us all? So, just to cap everything up and put that cherry on top of what we've been discussing.
Well, I'm going to say one really short sentence, which is learn something new every day and stay humble. That's it.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you. That is super. In fact, that's everything in a nutshell. Yes, thank you. Olumide, I don't know if you have something, another practical advice for us here.
I'll recommend something else. This
Okay.
is not technical. It's the book is called From Day One. It's by William J. White.
From Day One?
William J. White.
Okay.
That's it's an advice on how to launch an extraordinary career. Right? It's a very fantastic book. I got mine from this place in Okwawo. From Okwawo, what's the name of that city? So delivered it. It's a very good book. It was Latana Books. Huh?
Lafana.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it's a Latana. Yes. So it's a very wonderful book. You will enjoy it. It gives you practical, all the things that we spoke about, maybe peripheral. It goes very deep into it, and it will help you build your career. Whether you choose to continue with data science or you want to do something else, yes, it will help a lot. That's my candid advice.
Wow. Thank you so much, sir. I will also get that book because I think this is my first time I'm hearing it. William J. White from. Okay, thank you so much, Kemi, for typing this in our comment section. So yes, William J. White From Day One. Please, guys, run to the your online store and get that book. Get and read and read and read. So then, before we wrap up today's session, so let me just quickly touch on. Hello.
Yes, sorry, I have a question. Sorry, I couldn't type it right now.
Okay, so you can ask a question.
Okay, thank you very much, Tim Tokwe. My question is, thank you very much, Olumide and Kemi. I really enjoyed your talks today, and I've learned a lot. Now, my question goes to us. So, I'm part of the graduate training at Octave, and a lot of what you've mentioned today I've actually been doing before time, improving on my SQL, getting a Medium subscription so that I can learn every day. I even went to the extent of getting podcast subscription so I can listen on the go and all of that. Now, I think the next step for me is getting my dream job. I would like to ask, so what next do you think I can add to this? Or I say, what are the practical steps you can say for someone that is out there, that's gotten the training at least to a very good extent and gotten has improved on himself to an extent, but now the next step is getting the dream job. What necessary steps do you think he or she should do to place he or himself in front of the potential recruiters for this position? Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. So, Mr. Olumide, I don't know if you just want to, touch on what he said, and then I'll just move on to Kemi.
Well, depending on the industry you want to play in, if you have a preference, and if you don't have a preference, you must just have a positive approach to everything that you feel that you can. Even be confident in it and be open to learning. Be open to learning. Be approachable also. When you are when you don't know, acknowledge that you don't know, and when you know, and somebody doesn't know but still doesn't want to agree, know when to move on in an argument and know when not to move on. That's interview things. You don't have to tell your interviewer that these are soft things. You have learned your skill. You have learned stuff. Again, if that industry is whether financial, whether it's whatever, try and study Investopedia. At least for finance, for insurance, they have very nice topics so that you understand instruments for financial industry. So when you are talking about when they are talking about a topic, you are familiar with it. And the reason why the banking schools go to 4 months so that to retrain you, even if you studied accounting, banking, and finance in the university, some of them on the job, it's very totally different. The way they do things, it's very different when you get in there. Again, you continue to study. So when you have an interview, prepare for it like your life depends on it. Like you will not have any other chance. Prepare like you want to die there. You understand?
Should I tell them the story of your interview?
I can tell them myself. I can tell them myself. So when I had an interview with Airtel, they did it in such a way that they sent me those questions to attempt on a Thursday. I was supposed to go back by 12 p.m. the following day. And the nature of our work is such that I was on a project, so I was having timeline. So I didn't even have time to open. I just saw, I acknowledge that they've sent it on a Thursday morning. And I didn't have time to open and see until it was evening time when everybody had closed. Guess what? My PC crashed. When my PC crashed, I had to sleep all night to install all the applications. Then I started to, I didn't sleep all through.
Wow.
To make an impression.
Wow.
And, if Kemi can tell you, my eyes were red on that day because I had not slept. Because they intentionally made it that way so that they know if I can work under pressure. And it was like that for me. So you prepare like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's
okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Olumide. Thank you.
Let me give some tips here.
Okay.
So I'm a recruiting manager, and one of the things I look out in the CV, I look out for the keywords that attract me. So definitely there's going to be a job description. So I want to tell you that before you submit any JD, you want to kind of tailor your CV, because a lot of the times people use softwares that to filter out these CVs, right? And if they do that, if you don't have the necessary keywords, they are going to filter out your CV. It's not even going to get to the face of the recruiting manager. And then when I finally do get the CV, I look at things such as the arrangement of the CV, if you have any typos, I just want to look at it, and then look at your project experience. So those are the things you need to put. So even if you don't have a lot of experience, if you've done one project to say, let's say you've done a project to automate reconciliation or something, just one project, and you list that. I would rather take that over someone that says I have a certification in SQL. I'm not interested in your certification. I'm looking for what you have done. So you want to kind of list out your experiences in a way that is attractive. You want to look at the way you want to put the keywords that job description has said. So it's very important that you tailor your CVs before you just throw it out there. So one of the things that I did when I was starting out and looking for a job was I looked for so if I wanted to apply for a business analyst job, and I'll tell you, I had like 5 different CVs. If you wanted to apply for a business analyst job, right? You look at the keywords in business analyst. So you spend some time looking at what are the things that they ask for in a business analyst, and then you kind of tailor your CV for your business analyst CV. So when you want to throw out a business analyst job, you do that. When you want to throw out a system administration job, you do that. When you want to throw out a data analyst job that has to do with data architecture, then you do that. You tailor the CV to suit the role that you are applying for. So that guarantees you a chance into the interview. Because half the time you don't even get a call back because your CV has not been tailored to meet the recruiter's needs. Just advice, real life practical example of what I did to get to where I am today.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Kemi and Olumide. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm really happy Daniel asked that question because yes, you are trained and yes, you know the skills, but these are some things that you really, really, really need to know. Tailor your CV to meet a particular job description. And it is true. I have actually met someone who had all the certifications on EDX, Coursera, Udemy, and this person outlined everything, but no real relevant project experience. And I think that's one of the things we try to do here at Octave Analytics with our graduate trainees. So in as much as we train them, we also want to also put them on like real life projects so that they can actually get their hands dirty to that regard. So yes, thank you so much. So I think we have actually come to the end of today's program, and I'm just super excited. Honestly, I have been writing, and I think I have like 5 pages. That's me. So if I'm having 5 pages, I'm hoping that you guys have like maybe 10 or more. But yeah, that's just to show you the awesome rich Ramadan. Okay, let me mute myself. Okay, so we've had a really, really wonderful experience here at our lunch seminar series, and I really want to thank our 2 speakers. Honestly, guys, if you know how busy they are super busy, but they took out that time to be a part of this wonderful program. So from the depths of my heart, I want to say a big thank you to Olumide and Kemi for taking the time out to join us here today. Honestly, as I used to say, I say this all the time, but I really mean, I mean, if we were in a physical gathering, we will all be standing and it will be a standing ovation and everybody will be, encore. It will be that awesome. Thank you very much, everyone who took out the time to register for this program. And yes, let me quickly address some things. Yes, I will be sending the recording. We'll be sending the recording to those who need it. I can see some people have also dropped their email addresses. So we'll also be reaching out to you guys as well. So don't worry. And we'll also be sending the recordings of this program so that you can get to listen to the program as well. So I can see our Chief Commercial Officer has been with us. I don't know if she would love to say a few things, like a vote of thanks or something. Ibade.
Wow, this has been awesome. And I want to thank you very specially, Kemi and Olumide. I know that everyone here present has gotten so much. Even myself with over 15 years experience, I still have learned things that are new. So I want to believe that everyone here too has also gained so much. And thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for the vote of confidence. You talked about you gained from Octave Analytics.
True.
And that is the truth, because I'm sure our graduate trainees can testify. So for those participants that are not yet on the program, you need to continue to look out for, information in that regards, for when we'll be having the next one. And just generally keep in touch so that you can get updates from us. Once again, thank you very much, Kemi and Olumide. Thank you so much. Thank you. And well done, Tokwe, as well, and Emmanuel for organizing the session.
Thank you. That's our Chief Commercial Officer here, Octave Analytics.
So,
And
Ramadan, I have one quick stuff for left for you, especially for you. You want to try and get in touch with Blessing, okay? That is one brilliant deal. Attach to him. Tell him you will carry his bag for him. Do whatever you have to do to get in touch with him.
most definitely, yes. And I hope our graduate trainees are hearing, Shao. You know, when we tell you guys these things, I'm really happy. You know, Vade just mentioned it. See what Kemi said. You know, we try as much as possible to do, you know, the best that we can, and I'm really happy that we are actually impacting lives in that regard. So yes, before we go, in our usual fashion, we have everyone unmute their mics and tell our guests speakers, thank you. So if everyone can just unmute their mics and say thank you, and then we'll call it a day.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you
Really
so
appreciate
Thank
much.
it.
you very
Thank
Thank
you.
much.
you.
Thank
Yeah,
Thank you
we
you.
so
Thank
really
much
you.
for
appreciate your
this.
effort.
So
Thank you
much.
very much, man.
Thank you so much.
Stars. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Yay!
so much for the class.
Thank you. And on that note, we'll say thank you, everyone, and you have a wonderful day. Bye bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us. We're grateful. Do take care.
Thank you, Kemi. Thank you, Lumide.
Thank you
Bye.
very much.